Hello and welcome one and all to Italy for this F2 presentation. I'm your man on the mic, Ben Silver, aka Zerios, bringing you live play-by-play action here in Monza, Italy. Lots of action to bring you guys here today as we get underway of a one-shot quali. Then we'll have a feature race to follow, and of course the sprint race right after. And this one-shot quali should start here momentarily. We'll get the action underway as soon as we get our drivers loaded in. And we are underway. Let's see, who should we follow today? Let's hop on with Let's Get Fiscal. As you see, Let's Get Fiscal come around the first couple of turns here. 1 and 2 are very, very quick, one after the other, into a long loping turn number 3. This takes us through the end of Sector 1 into a sharp left of turn 4, which you'll see here momentarily. Just after the hard brake, we'll get into a hard right, which is turn 5. This takes us into turn 6, which is about a 90-degree right, and turn 7, which follows suit with about a 90-degree right as well. This takes us into what will be our first DRS detection zone off of turn 7. And then turns 8 through 10, I like to affectionately call the baby bump. As you'll see, it's a little bit of a looping left, a winding right, and then another looping left, giving it kind of a bit of a bump feel, of course. That takes us to our final turn 11, which is about a slow, call it just under 180-degree right turn, which you'll see right here as Let's Get Fiscal takes it expertly, no problem. And it looks like he'll qualify somewhere maybe at the bottom part of the top 10. Let's see what he'll come in at. It looks like he'll be bumped down to number 11, in fact. What's up, Sir Chom? Welcome to the stream today as we're in Italy for some F2 action. That was our one-shot quali. We'll get right into it here with our feature race. Of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Let's Get Fiscal, has been making short work of his colleagues in F2. He's out to a 29-point lead in the table with 175 points, coming off a very nice finish last week in Belgium. Second place in the table is Big Baguette with 146. Styx brings up the last of our top 3 with 97 points. Looks like we have a few new names out driving today. Let's see, we've got Mini Keller back for his first race in quite a while. Prince Jr. 93, that seems to be somebody I have not yet seen race. Let's see, who else do I see that may be new? Twitch Straight Gas. We also have, I have not yet seen him. So a couple new drivers among our ranks. Of course, Crunchy Trees, who made his F2 debut last week, along with Tom Betts, both back for more. Crunchy Trees, in fact, had himself a nice little finish, scooped up 6 points last week in Belgium. So excellent work, Crunchy Trees. We look forward to see what you can do this week. A little bit about our track, the Autodromata Nazionale Monza. Its first Grand Prix was in 1950. Of course, we all know it was built back in 1922 for an Italian Grand Prix. It was introduced in F1 in 1950. Track comes in just under 6 kilometers. 11 turns, as I just took you guys through on our qualifying lap. Let's see, let's take a look at tires. Let's enable all of that. All right, Vapor Cobalt, of course, winning the pole. He'll start first. Gourlay with a very nice finish in qualifying will be in second. Gourlay's been very impressive. Greeny will start in third. Big Baguette fourth, and Crunchy Trees, the man on a mission, will start this race in fifth. A little bit of trivia for you about this particular racetrack. It was constructed in 1922 in just 110 days. I mean, they put that thing up fast, less than a third of a year for those of you kids counting at home. They sure did put it up very, very quickly indeed. So this is, as I mentioned, in Monza, Italy, which is just northeast of the fashion capital Milan, where you might have heard, a great place for vacations, might I say. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful track. Lots of great places to watch the action, of course. I will be bringing it to you from the eye in the sky as we see Vapor Cobalt lead his way around on this qualifying lap, coming into turn 11. Feel free to slap your predictions down in the chat. Interact with me, guys. I can get kind of lonely here on the mic by my lonesome. Should be a fun race, though. Looking forward to it. I apologize to our new racers if I mispronounced anything in the name. Please do let me know. So it looks like we have all of our drivers, save Greeny, Let's Get Fiscal, and Leslie the Twig, on soft tires to begin the feature race. Those three drivers that I just mentioned all will be starting on medium tires. Looks like we're going to be going 15 laps in this just under 6 kilometer track. Should be a lot of fun as we get locked and loaded and ready to get this thing underway. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on for liftoff. As we see the lights turn on, and off we go. No false starts there, so we are off running, no problem. And immediately we see someone straight into the wall. A few more, oh man, that's 2 or 3 drivers down there. It looks like Greeny's already disqualified, DNF'd, and Leslie the Twig will hang out with him, as we'll immediately get a safety car off of turn 1. Not even turn 1. It looked like Greeny was shunted into the side as we see Word Cloud pick up a penalty for collision there. I'm sure he won't be the only one. Nicholas Volkman looks like he picked up a penalty. Gino Giuseppe, Minnie Keller, and Leslie the Twig all picking up penalties from that contact. So we get into the safety car. I'm sure we might see the damaged drivers here heading into the pits after this first lap. Really, really disappointing to see Greeny go out on that first turn. I'm sure he is absolutely furious. Of course, Greeny, one of our fastest racers out here in F1, making a rare F2 appearance, and you know, maybe that's why he doesn't drive a lot of F2. Really barely had to press the pedal when his race was over. Let's take a look at race control and see if we can figure out what exactly happened there. Let's see. So it looks like Greeny picked up that terminal damage. He was hit by Leslie the Twig, it looks like. Of course, then Minnie Keller went into Leslie the Twig. Did some damage there. Let's see. From there, it looks like Gino Giuseppe managed to bang around Minnie Keller. And yeah, just lots of penalties here right off the bat. Oh, man. It looks like the one person kind of in all of this that didn't get a time penalty was Prince Jr., 93. So hopefully he can continue to keep it clean. As you can just see, Leslie the Twig picking up a couple of penalties. Minnie Keller picking up a couple of penalties. Not exactly how we wanted to get this race started, that's for sure, as we have the safety car out on the track. And we do see both Gourlay and Leslie the Twig, both of which probably picked up just a little bit of damage. getting that looked at in the pits. Gourlay all the way down from 2nd now to 15th. That is not what he wants to see at all. Looks like we will have the safety car maybe for another lap, I would imagine. It's quite the nasty start to this race. So as we get back underway here, maybe in the next lap or so, we'll see if our pitted drivers, Gourlay and Leslie Detroit, can catch up to the pack here. They should have time to, especially if our safety car stays on for another lap, which it seems like it might. I'll be able to let you guys know that in just a moment. Yes, indeed, we will have the safety car for one more lap. Should be coming off after this lap, but that should give, at the very least, Gourlay time to catch up to this pack, make sure those tires are nice and warm, and hopefully he can make a run at the rest of this pack. So our position changes look kind of interesting, with Gourlay dropping 13 positions, but everyone else is holding steady or gaining. You don't see that very often, just two drivers in Gourlay and Greeny that were in that top 5 dropping out, and everyone kind of just moves over and takes those spots. So for the most part, 1 through 14 pretty much just stay pack and move up a spot or two depending on how many folks they passed. And Vapor Cobalt still our leader at this point on those soft tires. Let's take a look there at the penalties. Definitely not what Mini Keller wanted to see. So let's see if we can take a look at and see if anyone's got any damage here. Looks pretty good for our front 3 racers. Josh Smithness seems to be clean. Trulson looks clean. Vichensky's clean. Volkman looks clean. Tom Betts, from what I can tell, looks clean. Let's see. Let's get Fiscal's looking like he's got it together. That's Prince Jr. looking okay despite the contact that he received. Word Cloud looks good. Gino Giuseppe looks good, and Mini Keller, I imagine, is okay. Yes, indeed, he is. As is Twitch Straight Gas. I'll just call him Straight Gas because I mean Twitch is just him signaling to the world that he is indeed on Twitch. So from now on, he will be known as Straight Gas back there in 14th. And it seems like we will have one more lap of safety car. Might have spoken too soon as we get now a 4th lap of safety car. And we'll have to follow our good friend Tommy, the safety car driver, around for one more again. Well, guys, since we got another lap of safety car, it's up to you to keep me entertained. Throw some predictions down there in the chat. Does Greeny bounce back in the sprint race? Who do we think is our driver of the day? Who do we think wins the feature? Feel free to chuck them all my way, and we'll see whose predictions pan out. As we see, Gourlay has caught up to the rest of this group. It looks like Tom Betts and Nicholas Volkman decide to pit on the last lap of the safety car. Interesting choice there, to be sure. All right, so the safety car gets the call on the radio that he is coming off after this lap, and he'll start to pull away just a little bit from the rest of our drivers here. We'll see what kind of start Vapor Cobalt can get on the rest of this grouping. Be on board here with Crunchy Trees, one of our newer drivers, to see what kind of restart he can get behind Vapor Cobalt, as Vapor Cobalt will look to get the best possible start here. And it looks like we are away as Vapor Cobalt really puts the pedal to the metal. Big Baguette, though, not fooled, right behind him. Excellent job there. Let's see if we get through our first lap here this time. Now that we are without safety car, let's see how our drivers handle turn one here, and immediate contact once again. It looks like that was, oh, wow. I am a bit speechless, to be honest with you, as you see Vapor Cobalt get absolutely knocked around. Lots and lots of damage there. Gourlay, meanwhile, picks up penalty for corner cutting. Crunchy Trees takes the lead, so that means that we see our top two losing out there. That was Vapor Cobalt and Vichensky, maybe, I'm not sure. Vapor Cobalt goes ahead. It looks like he's going to leave the session. Did not like that damage there. Very unfortunate for him. And wow. Honestly, other than a little bit of a safety, not much else to it. Crunchy Trees, yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got a good shot. Managed to avoid contact twice, kind of right in this breadbasket, and pulls away just fine. He's now our race leader, as we see Vapor Cobalt looks like he will retire. It might just be ghost driving right now. Let's take a look at our pack here. Still very close along the top five. Very, very close to each other. A bit of a drop off. Gino about a second and a half behind Worry Cloud. Like Big Baguette heads into the pits. I believe I saw him pick up some damage too on that Vapor Cobalt collision. So he's going to get that damage looked at. Might go ahead and, ooh, and who was that we just saw into the wall? Not sure. It might have just been a graphical error there. No, it was Prince Jr. I'm not just seeing things. As Prince Jr. heads into the wall, looks like he will be able to get it back on the track. Might be missing that right wing end plate. Can't quite tell, but it certainly looks like it. Gourlay picks up another penalty. Definitely not what he had in mind here. Meanwhile, our leaders all very, very close here. Crunchy Tree still in the lead ahead of Trulson. And turn ahead of Josh Smithness. Those are our top three here in lap 6. As we see Crunchy Trees set a fastest sector 2 there. Nice job, Crunchy Trees. Excellent pace from you, sir. And Tom Betts just picks up his 3-second penalty. Lots of penalties here in the early running. We see Let's Get Fiscal looking to chase down Gino Giuseppe. He's on those medium tires, looking pretty good considering he qualified about 5 positions back. Meanwhile, Crunchy Trees heads into the pits, all those soft tires. He's going to go ahead and pull off that stop now, sooner rather than later. Vinny Keller picks up penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not what you want to see there at all. Prince Jr. also picking up a 5-second penalty in the pits. Certainly not what these guys wanted to see. Meanwhile, Gino Giuseppe and Let's Get Fiscal battling it out. Let's Get Fiscal gets the better of Gino Giuseppe, and now we'll get to work on Josh Smithness. So our top 3, Trulson's out a decent amount there in first. Still has to make a pit, I would imagine, on those 6-level softs in the next couple of laps. Josh Smithness also on the softs. Let's Get Fiscal hoping for a late safety car, perhaps, on those medium tires. We'll have to see how long Let's Get Fiscal pushes it on those medium tires. Meanwhile, let's see if Gino Giuseppe can chase down Let's Get Fiscal, who just took 3rd position away from Gino Giuseppe moments ago. Trulson also picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And both Trulson and Josh Smith is head into the pits, which means Let's Get Fiscal's out first. Gourlay takes back over in second. Nice work for him to get back in this race, though I will say with those penalties, don't exactly love Gourlay's chances moving forward. Let's get back out onto the track where Let's Get Fiscal will try to build up any sort of lead he can on those 7-lap-old mediums. And Crunchy Trees is out of the pits now, and he will see what he can do now on those 1-lap-old mediums. Oh, what's going on, Mr. Cobalt? Not exactly happy, I would imagine, with the way your race went. Looks like maybe some issues in the pits from Vapor Cobalt as he's back on the track now. Gourlay looks to chase down Let's Get Fiscal, about a second back of Let's Get Fiscal. I imagine we'll get Fiscal's pit stop in the next 2 or 3 laps, although he might just hold on as long as he can to see if we get a late safety car before he decides to pit. Could be very, very interesting. Looks like if he was, Fiscal that is, was to pit, he would come out probably right around 5th or 6th position, I would imagine. So we'll have to keep an eye on Let's Get Fiscal to see if he decides to pit for those softs sooner rather than later. It looks like he's one of the few medium-tired racers who's going to be able to make that strategy work with the late pit into soft tires to see if he can make the best of it. Currently without penalties, as is Nicholas Volkman, who's had a very, very quiet but very nice race. And of course, as soon as I say that, there's a bit of issue there. Manages to keep it together, gets back on the track. See here as we see Trulson getting the pass done on Crunchy Trees. Maybe not for now. Looks like he's going to back off right on Crunchy Trees. Just very nice battle here. Crunchy Trees will move over to allow Trulson a little bit of room. Probably smart from Crunchy Trees, as Trulson doesn't always like to play nice in those close quarters, and seemingly does not shy away from contact. So Crunchy Trees plays it smart, plays it safe, and gets out of the way from Trulson on those slightly newer medium tires, although it looks like they're going right back to back on it as Crunchy Trees looks to take over the inside. As you can see, Trulson definitely not shying away from that contact, and these two go side by side, and yep, that's exactly what I was trying to warn Crunchy Trees about, if only he was walked into me, as it looks like he's spun there by Trulson. Trulson gets away clean. Crunchy Trees, however, spun out, gets back on the track. That's bad luck for Crunchy Trees. Meanwhile, Gourlay, less than a second back of Let's Get Fiscal, probably will take his cue to pit off of Let's Get Fiscal. Might go for an extra lap or two. We'll have to wait and see. He does have the slightly newer medium tires, but I believe he still does owe us a pit stop. Heading back to Crunchy Trees. Let's see if he can slip by Gino Giuseppe, who Josh Smith missed. Word Cloud and Gino Giuseppe all taking advantage of the Crunchy Trees and Trulson contact. And using that DRS, Crunchy Trees passes by Gino Giuseppe, no problem on that back straight. Any other close margins we can take a look at? This seems to be pretty much the fight to watch as we go back and forth here. As we come in to our next couple of turns here, and maybe Gino Giuseppe thinking about making a pass on Crunchy Trees. I'm not sure he's going to really get his chance. Meanwhile, let's take a look up at the top where Gourlay has indeed managed to chase down Let's Get Fiscal. These two showing good pace. They're actually pulling away a little bit from Tom Bette and Nicholas Volkman. So both of these drivers showing excellent pace, as Gourlay is going to take advantage of the DRS on the home straight to pull maybe about a nose length in front of Fiscal. Fiscal does have to tap the brake to let Gourlay on through, and now these two will go at it. About a 30-ish second gap between these two drivers and Trulson back in 5th. I would say roughly 30 seconds, maybe just under. So I'd say that's about a pit stop's worth. They'll probably come out in around 3rd or 4th place when they decide to pit onto the soft tires. And we'll have to see if the pit stop comes this lap from these two. Let's get Fiscal now in the position where he can kind of watch and wait for Gourlay to pit if he wants to. Wow, Big Baguette trying to get back in this thing out in 10. Big Baguette, of course, in 2nd place, currently in F2 with 146 points, so he's going to need a little bit better of a finish than 10. Hoping for a bit of magic here, really his only chance. As Crunchy Trees gets spun again, I thought I saw that going down. As Crunchy Trees finds the wall, once again has to be very careful coming out of here from the wall, and he's back on the track. Unfortunately passed by a few different drivers. And Let's Get Fiscal will head into the pits. Meanwhile, Gourlay stays out on the track. We'll have to see where Fiscal comes back out onto the track. See what kind of pit stop he can get done here. He's going to have to make up quite a bit of time as he pulls in to have those tires changed onto the softs. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Nicholas Volkman is right on the back of Tom Betts. And Let's Get Fiscal looks like he'll have no problem coming back out in 4th place, as predicted by yours truly. Although I might have spoke too soon. It looks like he was not able to clear the pit lane in time. And is going to come out just behind Josh Smith in this 06. Spoke too soon. Certainly not the first time, and I have my doubts that it will be the last. As it looks like Tom Betts might have a shot at taking this thing. If he could just hang on. I think Gourlay, as I said, still has to pit. I could be wrong about that. It looks like he pitted around the 3rd lap under the safety car, and I believe the rules dictate he still has to pit for a different tire. I could be wrong. Again, as you just noticed, certainly would not be the first time. Let's see what tight margins we have here. Is Gino Giuseppe trying to chase down Big Baguette now. Now that Crunchy Trees unfortunately falls out of the top 10 with his second I guess meeting with the wall, we could say. So we come into our final few laps here. Vapor Cobalt looking to get a pass done on Gino Giuseppe. We'll keep it here for a minute as Vapor Cobalt picks up yet another penalty. Vapor Cobalt definitely having a race to forget, to be sure. And doesn't look like he's gonna be able to get into the turn ahead of Gino Giuseppe, so he's gonna have to let off for now. And on this home straight, seems like Vapor Cobalt will be able to get this move done. He has a slightly later break than Gino Giuseppe as these two go side by side. Looks like Vapor Cobalt able to get that move done, and he should hold on to that for now. The rest of the grid is a little spread out, you could say. Nicholas Volkman looking like he's going to get a really nice finish here, specifically because of the lack of penalties that he has. Especially if Gourlay still has to pit, this could be Nicholas Volkman's race, which would be really, really fun. Definitely enjoyable. It would be his first win that I would see. As we've seen Tom Betts make up 11 positions and Nicholas Volkman 6. Seems like Gourlay will not pit, so I guess does not owe us a pit, and it looks like Gourlay might have the difference penalties to win this race. Of course, unless he has to pit in the last lap, which he might still. Let's see the Twig picking up a 3-second penalty there. Meanwhile, Let's Get Fiscal has arrived to this next driver, which happens to be Josh Smithness. We'll have to see if Let's Get Fiscal can have the pace in this penultimate lap to cover that distance and get back in this thing and get a top 5 finish, as Let's Get Fiscal tends to do week in, week out. Nicholas Volkman, meanwhile, has to play this very, very carefully. He's got to know that he doesn't have any penalties. All he has to do is get a solid finish here, and he'll be A-okay. Looks like Nicholas Volkman is going to go ahead and try to get the pass in there. Moving past Tom Betts, no problem. And Gourlay is disqualified for not changing tires. So Nicholas Volkman takes over the lead as we come into our last lap. So sorry, Gourlay, that's really bad luck for you, pal. Again, you guys gotta have this stream on. I'm all about all the helpful suggestions, all the helpful advice. I could have saved crunchy trees earlier. Gourlay there, just nobody pays attention to little old me. But that's fine. I'm sure when you're watching back, you'll think that I'm right proper arse for calling you out. Would be the first time. So now, of course, this is Nicholas Volkman's race to lose. No penalties for him, out first. Let's Get Fiscal looks to move in, make a move on Josh Smithness now, if he can. As we are on our final lap here, just about 3.5 to 4 kilometers to go, and we'll have a result. So it looks like Vapor Cobalt might be able to start pole in our sprint also, depending on how the penalties shake out. Don't think Fiscal's going to have the pace to get much better than 5th, barring some sort of puncture or something along those lines from Josh Smith. This Big Baguette's done well to get back in this race also. And here we go. Nicholas Volkman looks like he's going to cross the finish line first. Well done, Nicholas Volkman. Tom Betts takes second. I don't think the penalties will be enough to shift him anywhere else from there. Looks like he just had about 3 seconds of penalties. Meanwhile, Trulson, of course, picking up quite a few penalties himself. Josh Smithness does pass Trulson, and Let's Get Fiscal passes both Josh Smithness and Trulson. Thank you very much for running a clean race, and that's how Fiscal finds himself in the top 3 once again. Big Baguette will be 6th, the Word Cloud 7th. Vapor Cobalt will be moved out of that coveted 8th spot by Worry Cloud. So he'll be in 9th. Crunchy Trees 10th. Mini Keller will finish in 11th. Assuming the penalties don't move things around, which of course they do. So Leslie the Twig moves to 11th. Mini Keller 12th. Chensky 13th. Prince Jr. 14th by only 0.3 of a second, so very close. And our friend Straight Gas, welcome to Bette, Jalle, my friend. That's a 15th place finish for you. Not too shabby. Stick around for the sprint race and see if you can turn in a slightly better result. Big shout out to my boy Nicholas Volkman for getting the win in the feature race. Excellent work for him. He'll get the points. It's gotta love that. And our driver of the day in the feature is Tom Betts. Of course, I have to go with Nicholas Volkman as my driver of the day for the feature. Of course, I do tend to give an overarching driver of the day between the feature and the sprint race, so we'll see who earns that honor. But excellent work for Nicholas Volkman. Excellent work for Tom Betts. Welcome to Bette, Jalle, to you too, my friend. Only a second F2 race, and manages to finish in second. And Let's Get Fiscal taking advantage of some very safe driving. Manages to move into third due to lack of penalties. He managed to get by Trulson and Josh Smithness to move up into a podium position. So nice job. Let's Get Fiscal. So that was fun, boys and girls, as we get settled in here for the sprint section. Something tells me Adam Clark might be Crunchy Trees. If so, I did warn you about the contact-prone Trulson. You gotta watch out. Trulson loves racing with just a little bit of contact. Yeah, that's bad luck for you, Cobalt, being moved out of that position. Certainly bad luck. Gonna have to start now in 9th. But on the bright side, we did see a fastest lap from you in the feature race, so that's good for a couple extra points. So you gotta be feeling at least a little good about that. It's gotta be a bit of a bright side, you know, the silver lining and whatnot. Alright folks, we are underway for our sprint section as we get our formation lap started. We see Word Cloud on the pole, Gino Giuseppe will start in 2nd, Big Baguette 3rd, Trulson 4th, Josh Smith is 5th, Let's Get Fiscal 6th, Tom Bette 7th, and our feature winner, Nicholas Volkman, will begin this race in 8th. From there on out, you could probably figure it out, folks. It's Vapor Cobalt in 9th, Crunchy Trees 10, Lesty is 11, Vinny Keller 12, Chensky 13, Price Jr. I think I've been saying Prince this entire day. So Price Jr., I should say. 14th, Straight Gas 15th, Greeny will start in 16th, and Gourlay, after being disqualified for not switching the tire compound, will start in 17th. Let's get our formation lap underway into Sector 2. We're coming up on our famed and loved baby bump portion. And that's 10 turns in the book, 1 to do in this formation lap. That'll be turn 11, and then we'll be back on the starting blocks for our sprint race. 11 laps, only 4 laps shorter than our feature. That being said, good news for you, Gourlay. You don't have to stop for tires should you not want to in our sprint race. Feel free to just keep those tires on all the way through, should you feel so inclined. We get our last couple of drivers settled in, and we await for some red lights here for the second time in Italia. Now let's see if we have as active of a first moment of this race as our feature, and so far it looks like everyone is away in one piece as we come up to our first turn. Let's see, a bit of contact I saw there, a bit of bumping, some corner cutting, but it seems like we are all away as we see the Red Bulls touch just for a moment. We did see someone in the grass there, a bit of a collision. Somehow able to get through is Gourlay. Had to really thread the needle there as Price Jr. and Vachensky find themselves early victims here in Italy. Let's catch back up with the rest of our pack. Let's Get Fiscal has moved up a couple of positions. like we are starting to spread out, and it should be relatively safe from here on out. Just keep an eye on some of those passes. See Vapor Cobalt really playing fast and loose with what could be considered the track, I suppose. While Tom Betts did just pick up a 3-second penalty. Tom Betts getting passed by the whole cavalry here. Oh, bit of contact. Oh, ouch. And that is a lot of damage there for Josh Smithness, who touched tires with Tom Betts a couple of times. And he is into the wall hard, but lucky to not lose a tire. Did lose his entire right wing, though, it looks like. No, just the end plate. That's a bad place to lose it, too, because he's got quite a bit of track before he gets to the pits to get that sorted. Meanwhile, Tom Betts is away and good to go. Definitely not crazy about his racing there with Josh Smithness. I'm sure Josh Smithness has got to be a little frustrated as well. Josh Smithness at this point just trying to limp on back to the pits. Really definitely not what he wanted to see there. And Trulson gets to work on Word Cloud. Looks like he should have no problem. Looks like he's going to back off maybe this particular lap. Wait for that DRS to be enabled on the next lap. And the fastest lap set by Big Baguette. Meanwhile, on the slipstream, Trulson looks to get by Worried Cloud. Still going nose to nose, it looks like. And Trulson does manage to get that pass done, as Worry Cloud does indeed blink first. Meanwhile, Let's Get Fiscal passed by both Big Cobalt and Big Baguette. Big crash here, just missed it, it looks like, as let's see if we can get an idea of what happened. And it looks to me like that was Gino Giuseppe having a lot of trouble there, managing to get back on the track and then lost that left end plate. Not what you want to see, as Gino Giuseppe now doing some cool drifts in the dirt. And Gino Giuseppe's got to be upset with himself as he'll. It looks like he's left the session. See if he comes back. And we have a safety car here. It's got to be, I would imagine, for that particular collision. We will have a safety car coming out on this lap, lap 3. Right at the end of lap 3 and the lap 4. We will have a safety car joining us here, which is kind of just what the doctor ordered for Josh Smithness. He'll be able to get back in this thing after pretty catastrophic damage earlier when he touched tires with Tom Betts. Meanwhile, Vapor Cobalt heads into the pits. Crunchy Trees heads into the pits. And Trulson stays out in front for now. And Straight Gas is disqualified for blocking the pit entrance. Looks like he's out of there. That's gotta be a pretty fatal mistake there from Straight Gas, blocking that pit entrance. Bad luck for him. And Gino Giuseppe will retire as well. And now we'll just have to wait and see if the drivers outside of our top 10 can rejoin the pack, as we have Vichensky chasing him down, Vapor Cobalt chasing him down, Crunchy Trees, Gourlay, Price Jr., and Josh Smithness all doing their best to chase down the pack. Might have a lap or two to get it done. look at some penalties while we're here. Trulson looks like he is all set. Baguette is good to go. Fiscal, not so much as a warning. Nicholas Volkman is solid. Lesty, no warnings there. Looks like Tom Betts did indeed pick up a penalty. Worried Cloud has picked up a penalty. Garini, Mini Kellers picked up a penalty. Pachensky has a drive-through penalty to do. Vapor Cobalt, no penalties. Crunchy Trees, no penalties. Gourlay, a few warnings. Price has a 5-second penalty to his name. Josh Smithness has a warning. And then, of course, Gino Giuseppe and Twitch Straight Gas no longer with us in this particular race. The safety car take us through the next lap or two. As we get a few of our trailing drivers catching up to the pack. Here comes Vapor Cobalt and Crunchy Trees. Both will have no trouble catching up to this pack. Gourlay, if we get another lap, shouldn't have a problem. Price Jr., no problem there. Josh Smithness, however, has a lot of work to do to catch back up to this pack before we get back underway. Take a look at tires while we have a second. Seems like our top 10 drivers all on their original tires. Those were medium composites. We've seen some pits from Vapor Cobalt, Crunchy Trees, Gourlay, and Price. Price opting for the mediums, the latter three all for softs. It looks like Josh Smithness has put on his original medium tires once again. Like all of our drivers will be able to catch up to the pack, save Josh Smithness. Josh Smithness really booking it to try to make up as much time as he can here before we get a restart. Quite well to really make a play at getting back in this thing before we get a restart. This will be our final lap of safety car, so Trulson will look to get the best start possible. We'll have to see how he does on the restart here. Away we go. Trulson manages to get a nice little move done there on Big Baguette to put just a little bit of distance between them, although Big Baguette quickly compensates and is right on the back of Trulson as we get into turn one here. See what kind of action we may see. have another bit of a issue back here. Let's Get Fiscal finds the wall. Nicholas Volkman finds the wall. Lots of damage there. So Let's Get Fiscal. Wow, lots of damage on Let's Get Fiscal's vehicle there. Not sure what happened there. Just missed that. It looked like Nicholas Volkman and Let's Get Fiscal find themselves all the way at the bottom. Tight back here. Truson and Big Baguette still fighting over P3. Let's see. Sorry, P1 I should say. Talk about the slip of the tongue. This time it's Mini Keller with the problems. So he gets back on the track, passed by basically everyone else out on the track. Lots of contact in this race, lots of damage, lots of folks having to do their best to stay off the wall as we see Word Cloud slip by Tom Betts, no problem. Tom Betts, of course, one of our drivers still on his original tires, and that tire wear is starting to show as Word Cloud takes that turn just a little wide, allowing Tom Betts right back into this thing. Remaining here. Still, for the most part, pretty bunched up, I would say. My safety car certainly made things interesting. Very much Trulson's race to lose at this point. She's got to keep it clean from here on out. The fight between these two, Tom Betts and Word Cloud, continues. This time Word Cloud gets the better of Tom Betts. Betts picking up a 3-second penalty there. Definitely not what you want in the waning moments of this race. Trulson sets the fastest lap. Looks like he's going to do his best to pull away from Big Baguette, who says, "No, you're not," as he sets the fastest lap just behind Trulson. Crunchy Trees gets by Tom Betts there, no problem, but then overruns quite a bit. Somehow avoids the penalty, it looks like, but definitely costs him plenty of time as he opts for the scenic route around a particular turn. Well, Big Baguette keeps on closing this gap here in the penultimate lap, now down under half a second. if Big Baguette can get this done here as we're going into our last lap. He's running out of time to get by Trulson. Still a couple of opportunities, including this home straight here, which will be the first attempt on this last lap to get by Trulson. And it looks like he's able to do it. Now the question is, was that move too soon? Did he give Trulson too much time to come back on it? Quite a good fight between these two here, as it looks like our race will be decided by less than a second. Look at those two side by side, both jonesing for that first place finish. Bit of contact as Trulson answers, almost loses it, able to keep it on the track. And now, can he make up the half a second or so that he's back on Big Baguette, as Big Baguette really starts to open up this lead just a little bit. And I don't think Trulson's going to be able to answer and get back in this. See if that DRS has anything to add. Not enough to really make a dent, I don't think. Still half a second back. Let's see if Trulson takes one last shot at him here as we come up on the final portion and the final turn of this race. And it looks like Big Baguette will take the checkered flag here in Italy. And Trulson will finish in second. Let's see the twig. Excellent finish for him, back in third place. Word Cloud, meanwhile, fourth. Crunchy Trees jumps Word Cloud into fourth. Tom Betts will get ninth after penalties are, sorry. Tom Betts just keeps going down, down, down as he's picked up quite a few penalties for a lot of contact. So let's take this from the top here. Sixth, Scorley. Seventh, Nicholas Volkman. Eighth is Price Jr. Ninth, Let's Get Fiscal. Vapor Cobalt 10th. Greeny will start in 11th. Finish in 11th, I should say. Tom Betts 12th. Chensky 13th. Mini Killer 14th. Josh Smith 15th. So a rare no points finish for Let's Get Fiscal for the sprint section of the race, as we sit and watch with bated breath for Josh Smith to come across the finish line. Quite an interesting finishing grid there. Trulson did well to get a podium there. I still think Nicholas Volkman has to be my overarching driver of the day for a win in the feature, and still respectable 7th in a very hectic sprint race that he did well to hang on to that position and even move up into 7th. So nice job, Nicholas Volkman, pal. Certainly some excellent driving from you today. Well, guys, it's been a hectic one in Italy here for F2. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I certainly hope that everyone has a wonderful weekend, a safe weekend, and hopefully we will see you next week. But for now, this is Ben Silver, your man on the mic, a.k.a. Zerios, saying until next week, see ya.